So Long, Farewell, written by Eleanor Wells. Interior, Crestwood High School, backstage, day. Spring 2012. The backstage of an auditorium. The large cast of a musical mingles. They're all in costume, and we see the productionists for The Sound of Music. Some do warm-ups. Some practice their lines in isolation. Others chat. Annie Ryan, 18, dressed in Maria's iconic opening scene costume, watches this scene from behind the curtain. She looks away, noticing Marin Crosby, 17, as Liesel, beside her.
I don't think I can do this.
Yes, you can. You've killed it every night so far. Besides, Thomas isn't going to let you fuck up.
You probably have to save me, that's all. I'm glad I can't see him in the booth. That would throw me off. Evie's here.
Really?
Third row, towards the left.
Well, now I know where not to look.
At that moment, Hannah Connor, 16, pretty but shy and awkward, approaches Annie, carrying a pincushion. It takes the girls a moment to notice her.
Hey, sorry. Petra said to double pin your apron.
Sure. Do what you need to do.
Hannah tries but fails to secure the apron.
Don't poke me now. I don't want to bleed out.
Sorry.
Maybe you guys should go somewhere with more light.
Do we have time?
Just then, a man's voice gets their attention. This is Jesse Grant, 40s. Mr. Grant to the kids, the drama teacher and their director, salt and pepper hair. He has a clean-cut, Midwestern dad look.
4 minutes until pep talk in the dressing room.
Let's go in the hall.
Okay.
Interior, Crestwood High School, hallway, night. Hannah leads Annie into the hall and starts to pin her apron. The two of them look out the windows, out of the busy parking lot.
Good turnout tonight. Okay, I think we should be all good.
Just then, Annie and Hannah both catch eyes with Thomas Pike, 17, coming from the bathroom. He's handsome, but still has a shy and quiet quality.
Hey, what's going on?
We have a few minutes.
Okay.
He and Annie exchange a reassuring look, ignoring Hannah's presence. She watches as Thomas approaches Annie and puts his hands on her shoulders.
Hey, break a leg. You're gonna be amazing.
Annie smiles, and Thomas kisses her.
Okay, bye.
He darts down the hallway and up a set of stairs. Hannah and Annie exchange a look just as they hear the orchestra begin to play instrumental selections from the show.
Break legs.
Thanks.
Hannah speedwalks the same direction as Thomas, but goes downstairs as Annie enters the dressing room. Interior, Crestwood High School, dressing room, night. Mr. Grant sees Annie enter the dressing room, a studio with makeshift partitions, folding chairs and tables, where the cast has begun to gather. It's both dressing room and green room for the high school show.
All right, cast, let's circle up.
It's a large cast, but they find the space. Elise Ryan, 14, Annie's younger sister, finds a space next to her. She's Brigida. Marin stands on Annie's other side. They whisper to each other as sisters do.
Hey.
Hey, nervous?
No, I'm feeling pretty good.
Did I miss anything?
James and Haley just broke up
What?
2 minutes ago.
Annie blinks and looks over at James Carpenter, 17, dark-haired, lanky, with a young George Harrison vibe. He plays Captain Von Trapp. James stands between KYRA Kittner, 18, radiant and magnetic, as the Mother Abbess and an ensemble member. At a completely different place in the circle is Haley Porter, 17, stern and pretty, playing the Baroness. She's between two different ensemble members. Annie notices how serious and distant they both look. Mr. Grant gets their attention.
First things first, just take a deep breath in
The cast inhale in unison.
and out.
They exhale.
Now, take hands with the person next to you and close your eyes. Be in this moment. I'm so proud of the work all of you have done. The story is about the difference that art makes in our lives, and it's your show now. To all the seniors in this cast, we're going to miss you all, but I'm excited about what the future has in store for you all. Let's give everyone 3 amazing shows. First, let's pass around a squeeze.
They do. Then everyone opens their eyes.
Hands in. What's our key word?
Austria!
They raise their hands, and everyone exclaims Austria in unison.
Places.
Everyone scatters. We follow Annie as she leaves the dressing room, the overture music and chatter of the audience getting louder and louder. Interior Crestwood High School, auditorium, night. Just before intermission, Annie, as Maria, lingers on stage with her guitar and a note. She puts the note on the table and leaves out the door, exiting the stage. Applause. The lights come up for intermission. Interior Crestwood High School, backstage, night. Annie is greeted by Haley first when she comes off stage.
Hey,
Hey,
good job.
you too. God, I am such a bitch to you in that scene.
Oh, it's good. I think we're selling it.
She sees James lingering elsewhere on stage, out of the corner of her eye.
Yeah?
Never mind. Until Act 2.
Annie walks off. Exterior Crestwood High School, night. In costume, Annie stands outside, looking out at the parking lot. She's taking the quiet scene of the parking lot and the night, and the few audience members outside. She's distant as she notices Thomas appear beside her.
You are amazing.
I was just thinking
About?
how I'm gonna be in Chicago and you're gonna be in Boston in the fall.
I don't have to think about it right now.
No, but when the show's over, we're gonna have to talk about it.
What are you saying, Annie?
I don't know. There's so much I don't know. When I'm on a stage, I don't think about these things. Then the second I stop, it all comes rushing back. I should go get ready.
Okay.
Annie goes back in, and Thomas stays there. Interior Crestwood High School, lobby, night. Evie Marks, 17, finds her way through the audience to the concession stand. She has a soft, quiet prettiness about her, but she seems older than she is. Some of the other students stare at her. Carter Crosby, 19, Marin's older brother, works it. Evie gets in line and approaches. Carter smiles when he sees her.
Hey,
Hi, what are you doing here?
my mom had this work thing, but she had a thing, so I just happened to be around. Thank you so much for coming.
I wouldn't miss it for the world. How's college been?
Oh, it's great. I love it. You enjoying the show?
Annie's great. Marin's great. They're all great. I'm excited to see what they do with Act 2. I know they've always been telling me about the show and rehearsals.
Yeah, Marin told me this is like her favorite role.
Yeah, she said that to me too.
Hey, there's a line.
What can I get you?
Just a Coke.
$1.
Evie gives Carter $1, and Carter hands her the Coke.
See ya, Ev. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Evie takes the Coke and goes to sit outside. The same student calls out to Evie.
Evie, Carter's not interested.
Nearby students laugh at this. Evie ignores them and walks outside. Exterior Crestwood High School, night. Evie takes her soda and sits on the steps. She has a moment of peace before she sees AIDEN Schultz, 21, punk rocker, good looks, approach her.
What are you doing here? Where's Jackson?
Relax. He's with my mom.
AIDEN sits next to her, and Evie shifts away.
It's intermission. I'm going to start in a few minutes.
Oh.
Why are you here?
Because I want to talk to you.
It's not really a good time.
Come over when you're done. Stay over. It'll be good for Jackson.
A girl, Sarah DeWitt, 18, and a friend see the two of them and interrupts.
Well, if it isn't Lolita and her baby daddy.
Fuck off, Sarah.
How's the GED coming, Andy?
None of your business.
Sarah and her friend carry on their own conversation, and Evie turns back to Aiden.
See, this is what I mean. You can't be here. Go be with your son and I'll come get him later.
Just then, Thomas, still outside stage door, sees them and approaches.
Aiden, man, what's up?
Not much. Just leaving.
He stands up. As Evie watches him leave, she buries her face in her hands. As Thomas approaches her, Sarah catches his attention.
Hey, Thomas.
Thomas ignores her.
Tell Annie I'm her biggest fan.
He's still not going to fuck you.
Sarah's face turns white. She and her friend exchange a look and go inside the theater.
Okay then.
Got rid of her, didn't it?
I guess it did.
Don't you have to be in the booth?
In a minute or two. It's good to see you. I guess Annie saw you in the audience and she was really excited that you're here.
Yeah. I just can't have 2 hours to myself. How are you and Annie?
Depends. What she told you.
Not much. That's why I'm asking. Boston. I've got to admit, I'm jealous. Whole different part of the country where no one knows you and you get to start over.
Well, let's get through senior year first.
As they see the lights flicker within, the scene fades. Interior, Thomas and Hannah's apartment, living room, day. Super, 6 years later. A very modest apartment in a slightly decaying building. It's daytime. Outside, it is midwinter, evidence from the snow, the ice, and the desolation outside, somewhere in the city. Thomas, now 23, sits on the couch looking out the window. He's dressed in a long-sleeved shirt and fleece pajama pants. On the coffee table is his laptop, open to a job board. Eventually, Thomas looks away from the window and back at the laptop. After a long, frustrated sigh, he closes it and leans back onto the couch. After a moment, his phone rings. He recognizes the caller, Evie Marks. After a moment of hesitation, he answers it.
Hello?
Thomas, it's Evie. How are you?
All right. It's good to hear from you.
How's Hannah?
Good.
Tell her that I say hi.
I will.
Hey, listen, do you have a minute to talk?
Sure. About what?
Uh, do you remember Maren Crosby from school?
Of course.
She died yesterday.
What?
She's dead, Thomas.
How?
They still have to do the autopsy to figure out exactly how it happened, but it was late. She was driving and crashed head on into a pole. She didn't make it. And he thought you ought to know.
Was anyone else?
No, it was only her.
Okay. Is there gonna be a funeral? I mean, we should be there. I think Hannah would want to come too.
Yeah, there'll be a funeral. If you guys can get away for it.
Well, Evie will be there.
Okay. It'll be nice to see you.
You too.
Thomas hangs up the phone. He takes a moment. Interior, Thomas and Hannah's apartment. Kitchen, night. It's nighttime now, the darkness making the cold weather outside seem even more desolate. Thomas, still in the same pajamas, waits for something to finish in the microwave. Beside him is a hot chocolate packet. The microwave beeps, and he takes a mug of boiling water out of it. As he puts it on the counter and pours the hot chocolate mix, a key turns in the door. It opens. We hear shuffling. Hannah taking off her coat, her boots, putting her key and purse back where they belong.
I'm home.
In the kitchen.
A moment later, Hannah, now 22, enters the kitchen. Serious, well-dressed, Hannah approaches him, sensing that something is off.
How was your day?
Marin Crosby died.
What?
From school.
Yeah, I remember Marin. Of course. She died?
Evie Marks called me this afternoon when you were in class.
How did she die?
A car crash.
Jesus Christ. Well, did they say anything?
About a funeral? Evie's gonna get back to me.
Okay, you don't need to cut me off, by the way.
I didn't cut you off.
Yes, you did, Thomas.
Look, I'm sorry.
Okay. I'll be in our room.
Okay.
She leaves. Thomas, alone, picks up the hot chocolate and takes a drink. After a moment, he sets it down and starts to sob. Interior, Mitchell International Airport. Arrivals. Day. A cold, gray, lifeless winter day. Hannah and Thomas stand inside with their luggage, near the door to outside. Thomas looks at his phone. He's on Marin Crosby's Facebook page. On her wall, there's posts from people. He's looking at one from KYRA. Marin, I was so grateful to share the stage with you for 4 years. All my love. She's attached photos of the two of them from a few of their various shows. Bye Bye Birdie, Into the Woods, Our Town, and of course, The Sound of Music. There's others too, all saying some variation of the same thing. They share stories, memories, photos. Thomas is jolted back to reality by a text he receives from Mom. Be there in 2, it says. Thomas looks his phone down and gets Hannah's attention.
She's almost here.
Okay.
Evie said she can have us for dinner tonight.
Sounds good.
I guess Annie's going to be there too.
Well, it was her friend too, right?
Evie and Marin did everything together. Do you have a problem with her being there?
Why would I? Do you have a problem with her being there?
No. I mean, everything between us was a long time ago.
Hannah nods. She's looking out the window now, lost in thought.
You know, I never knew Marin that well, but she was always so nice.
Thomas looks out the window, and they see a car pull up. Exterior, Mitchell International Airport. Arrivals. Day. Thomas and Hannah approach a car. A kind woman, Cindy, 53, drives. Thomas's mother. She sees Hannah and smiles. Then she pops the trunk. As they put their luggage in, both Thomas and Hannah shiver, their breaths visible in the car. They get in the car, Thomas in the passenger seat and Hannah in the back. Interior, Cindy's car. Day. Thomas gives his mother a quick hug.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, honey. Good to see you, Hannah. I wish you were both here under different circumstances.
I know.
When was the last time you talked to her?
I don't even remember. It's been years.
Interior, Thomas's house, Thomas's childhood bedroom. Dusk. Thomas and Hannah lie on the bed in his bedroom, relatively unchanged since his high school years. There's medals for debate and robotics clubs, fantasy books on his shelves, a map of the United States with pins in all of the places he's been.
My dad texted me.
Oh?
I wasn't even going to tell him I was coming back, but I figured he'd find out some way or another.
What are you gonna do?
Told him I was staying with you, but he asked if we could at least meet for breakfast tomorrow.
So,
I'll see him. Figure it can't hurt.
as long as you don't miss the funeral. What?
Why would I miss the funeral? That's the whole reason we're here.
I just wanted to make sure.
Do you think I'm an idiot?
No, of course not. Things are just really hard right now.
I know.
Hannah lays her head on Thomas's shoulder. They sit there for a moment. Then Thomas looks at his watch.
It's 2:45. We should get going.
Okay.
Hannah wearily gets up out of bed. Thomas follows her. Interior, Cindy's car. Night. Thomas drives Cindy's car, and Hannah sits in the passenger seat. They scan addresses on a run-off-the-mill residential street as Hannah looks at maps on her phone.
5403, that's it.
Thomas sees it too. He starts to park, but then sees a sign. No parking December 1st through March 1st.
Can't park here. Fuck.
It's okay, we can walk a block or two.
Forgot how much I hate this winter parking shit.
I know.
They turn onto a side street. Exterior, Evie's house. Night. Thomas and Hannah walk quickly down the block in order to stay warm. They stop at one house, 5403. The light is on. It's a simple house at best, the exterior of which has seen better days. They walk to the door. Thomas rings the doorbell. A boy, Jackson Marks, 6, opens the door. He stares at the two of them.
Jackson?
Jackson looks at them, but says nothing.
We're your mom's friends.
I'll get her.
Jackson disappears into the houses. A moment later, Evie, now 23, emerges with her son. She sees Hannah and Thomas and waves at them. Then she opens the door.
Hey, come on in.
She opens the door and lets them in. Interior, Evie's house, living room, night. Hannah and Thomas take a seat on the couch. The living room and attached kitchen is simple, barely furnished. Generic, save for one abstract painting on the wall. There's some clutter. Kids' toys, paper, mail, receipts, coat slung over the sofa. Jackson stands idly by. Evie turns to him.
You can go play video games, okay? Love you.
He exits the living room without another word.
Jackson's getting so big.
I know.
How old is he again?
He'll be 7 this year, if you can believe it.
Wow.
Sorry about the mess. I would have cleaned up more, but I just got off work an hour ago and I had to pick up Jackson. Speaking of, I didn't have time to make dinner like I wanted to, so I was thinking we just order pizza.
Pizza's fine.
Do either of you need anything to drink? I think I have a couple of beers in the fridge.
I'll take a beer.
Me too.
Evie walks into the kitchen and gets 3 beers out of the fridge. She walks back to the couch.
Do you remember when we used to get so excited about having the most watered down shit?
Right.
I never drank in high school.
You must have at one point.
No, I didn't.
So I'm going to be honest, I've kind of been distracting myself from Aaron these last few months, distancing myself from Aaron these last few months.
Really?
It was never like we had a big blowout fight and decided we weren't going to be friends anymore. But I don't know, she got unreliable, I guess.
Thomas and Hannah both nod. This isn't surprising information to them.
Every day it was another crisis.
Now Evie is crying too. She wipes a tear from her eye and then looks outside.
I mean, she was trying. She really was, but I don't know.
Do they know?
How it happened? Not yet. We have to wait for the autopsy. The bar is where she was last seen. So. The last time I talked to her was 2 weeks ago when she sent me a video compilation of cats. Isn't that something? How a conversation about fucking cats can just be it.
Neither Thomas or Hannah say anything.
It's only 5 o'clock. It's so dark.
I know, I hate it.
Evie's phone dings.
That's Annie. She'll be here in a half hour. Should we order the pizza?
Yeah, sure.
Interior, Evie's house, living room, later. The 3 of them eat pizza.
So, how's Boston?
It's all right.
Yeah, all right, I guess.
I need a vacation. I thought about taking Jackson to Disney World or something like that, but then I looked at the prices and no way, not anytime soon.
Yeah. I'm still looking for a job. You didn't know this, but I got laid off.
Sorry. So visitation is going to start at noon tomorrow, then the service at 1. Marin told me once that when she dies, she just said she wanted her ashes scattered on Bradford Beach. Funeral ceremonies are a bunch of pomp and circumstance to make people feel better about themselves. Why is that funny?
I'm sorry, it's not. I just yeah. Never mind.
Okay. Yeah. It's the 4th of July or something, and there are all these people there, and bits of Marin are everywhere. That is kind of funny.
So, who's all supposed to be there tomorrow? You know, that we know.
Us, Carter, obviously, KYRA Kittner. I told James about it, but he wasn't sure if he'd be able to come, and he hasn't followed up. Other than that, I don't know.
Thomas nods and closes his eyes. Interior, Crestwood High School. Hallway. Day. 2012. It's the end of the day. Students chat, walk through the halls, get stuff from their lockers. At 17, Thomas looks very much the same. He stands off to the side with Annie. She has a radiant energy that naturally draws people to her. Still, she's nervous. They stare at a piece of paper on a door to the theater, illegible to them at a distance. Some give the paper passing glances, others regard it and have a visible reaction.
You know you're gonna have to look at it sometime, right?
Still, Annie is frozen. She eyes Haley and James standing by the list. From their body language, it's immediately clear they're a couple. She doesn't hear what they say. While James seems happy, Haley has a disappointed look on her face. Then, James takes Haley's hand and they walk down the hall, toward the exit. They pass Annie and Thomas as they do.
Annie,
Haley doesn't meet her gaze. Annie watches them leave and turns to Thomas.
Okay. Don't know what that means.
Thomas takes her hand and gives it a reassuring squeeze.
Okay. Here goes nothing.
We stay with Thomas as Annie gathers her courage and walks over to the door and the paper. After a moment, she turns around, a beaming smile on her face. She approaches Thomas with an excited squeal.
I'm Maria!
No way.
She takes him by the hand to show him. We see the paper now. Sound of Music cast list. It reads, "Thank you to everyone for your amazing auditions, and congratulations to the cast. Maria Von Trapp, Annie Ryan." Thomas gives her a smile.
James is Captain Von Trapp, obviously, and Haley is the Baroness. Interesting. KYRA Kittner is Mother Abbess, and look who's Liesel.
She points further down on the list. Liesel Von Trapp, Marin CROSBY. Just then, they catch Hannah staring at the both of them. She sees them and quietly looks down.
Congratulations.
Annie
you.
flashes her a smile.
Thank you.
Hannah leaves down the hallway.
Do I know her?
She's in costumes. I think her name's Hannah?
Got it. I thought she looked familiar.
Annie turns around to see Marin approaching them. She has a nervous smile on her face.
So,
Do you want to look, or do you want me to tell you?
I'll look, but you're smiling, so.
She approaches and immediately turns around, squeals, and hugs Annie. The girls have a moment of celebration as Thomas watches with a smile.
This cast is amazing, and my sister is Brigitte.
Elise is in?
Yes, I wonder where she is. She probably doesn't know the cast list is out today. I mean, I told her, but she probably forgot.
Oh my god.
Annie gets her phone out to send a text.
I just told her to meet us here.
She puts her phone away.
We should go get shakes and celebrate. Oh, we could even see if EVIE could come too.
I'd love to, but I have to work.
That's right.
Besides, I'm sure Evie has her hands full with Jackson.
Marin hugs Annie.
Soon. So excited.
She walks down the hallway, out of sight.
I know you have to go too. That's all right. We'll celebrate another time.
They embrace as the memory fades. Interior, Evie's house, living room, night. Present. Thomas, completely spaced out, is brought back by Annie, now 24, entering through the front door. She's just finished hugging Evie and taking off her coat when she sees Thomas and Hannah. Thomas stands up and they hug awkwardly without a word. They stare at each other for a moment. Then Annie sees Hannah and waves at her.
Hi, Anna.
Hi.
Evie gets Annie's attention.
Need a drink?
Just water.
Well, help yourself. Should still be hot.
Thank you.
I'll get that water.
Evie disappears into the kitchen. Annie sits down, facing Thomas and Hannah, and she begins to eat. She keeps most of her focus on Thomas.
How's Boston?
It's all right. How's Chicago?
It's all right. I'm in a show right now.
What's the show?
Ragtime. I'm just in the ensemble.
It's amazing, Annie. Congrats.
Gosh. Thomas, it's been...
High school graduation.
It can't have been that long.
It's been 6 years.
You look exactly the same.
So do you.
Annie laughs ruefully at the same time Evie returns with a glass of water. She sits and joins them.
I told Evie earlier that the last time I talked to Marin, it's been a year now. It was just after she lost her job, and I told her I was worried about her. She basically told me that I don't need a babysitter, and she hung up. And that was the last time. Sorry, you think she's always going to be around, you know? Even if we weren't in contact, and besides, she didn't fucking kill herself. She didn't want to die.
I guess I thought she was always gonna be around too.
At that point, Jackson comes out in the living room and shyly approaches Evie.
What?
I'm hungry.
You're hungry. You just ate dinner.
I'm still hungry.
I think we might have cookies in the pantry.
She winks at her son. After a moment, Jackson enters the kitchen. Evie watches as he finds a package of Oreos.
There's only Oreos.
That's what we have.
Jackson opens the package.
Put them on a plate, please. And you can have 3.
Okay.
Evie continues to watch as he serves himself a plate. After he disappears down the hallway, she turns back to Annie, Thomas, and Hannah.
Remember high school? Seemed like we would graduate and that would be it.
I hated high school.
It wasn't that bad. Things were easier.
Were they really easier? Or are you just saying that because of nostalgia?
What do you mean?
We had less responsibilities in high school, but less freedom.
I'm not sure I like being an adult. I feel like I blinked and college was over. And what do I have to show for it but 20,000 in debt? Marin would croak so she doesn't have to deal with this shit.
Annie,
What?
don't talk like that.
I'm fine. I'm just saying. So who all is gonna be there?
Marin's family, KYRA, us. Those are the only ones I know for sure.
Man, it's so fucking cold outside.
It's supposed to be like this all weekend.
Annie checks her phone.
-5 degrees. It feels like -20 with wind chill. I'm so over it.
Well, we've got like a month, right?
More like 2.
The four of them sit in silence.
Aiden's gonna be there too.
Oh,
Yeah, he texted me after he heard. Look, it's nice of him. And he's been a great dad when he so easily could have just taken off.
being a little bit generous.
Well, what do you want me to say? Jackson doesn't have any other dad. Besides, he's coming to the funeral, that's all.
How do you feel about him being there?
It's within his right. He knew Marin too.
Yeah, and she hated him.
Really? I had no idea.
Throughout this, Thomas and Hannah are silent. Thomas stands up.
Evie, where's your bathroom?
Evie gestures.
Second door on the right.
Interior, Evie's house, bathroom, night. Thomas washes his hands and his face with water. He stares at his reflection, taking heavy breaths. Interior frat house, bathroom, night. 2010, a different bathroom. Thomas, at 16, is uncomfortable as he washes his hands, too. From within, music blasts from stereos. As Thomas washes his hands, there's a knock at the door.
Hey, some of us have to piss, asshole.
Just a second.
Thomas dries his hands and exits the bathroom. Interior, frat house, basement, night. Thomas leaves the bathroom. It's a party. Not just a high school party either, evident from the frat house they're in and the average age and demeanor of the guests. Marijuana smoke permeates the air. Thomas scans the room. Then he sees Annie, Marin, and Evie sitting in a corner on two perpendicular couches. Each of them drink. Relieved, he goes to join them. He sits next to Annie, wrapping his arms around her as the three of them speak.
Let's cast it now. Cinderella, KYRA, you, Rapunzel.
You really think I could be Rapunzel?
Definitely.
I can totally see it.
Shit, well, that would be cool. I can tell KYRA is Cinderella too.
That's because she's the most talented person in this school. If anyone's gonna make it from fucking Crestwood, it's probably her.
Well, don't sell yourself short, Miss Ryan.
Okay, James, what do we think? Narrator or Jack?
Narrator.
Yeah, you're right. I'll probably get like Jack's mom or something like that. Shit, I probably won't even get in.
That's not true. Look, we were all in ensemble as freshmen, weren't we? And then we built our way up.
You built your way up. I'm still playing the random roles because Mr. Grant feels bad for me.
You'll get your chance. We're juniors now, and next year we'll really get our chance.
It'll be fun to see what we're doing next year.
This is why I'm in orchestra.
Well, you still have to audition for solos and stuff.
Yeah, but I don't really give a fuck. It's just fun to be there and play the music.
There.
At that point, Carter, 18, with a drink, approaches the couches they're sitting on, taking an open seat next to Evie.
Hey, glad you guys made it.
Of course.
How's everything?
Pretty good.
What? Am I embarrassing to you?
Maybe just a little bit.
Well, I'm gonna do my rounds, but just saying hi.
As he stands up, he moves his hand to Evie's shoulder for the slightest touch. As he does, Marin, Thomas, and Annie all exchange a look.
What?
Nothing.
Tell me what?
Hi.
They kiss.
My God, get a room.
Thomas, I think you need a drink.
Guys, I don't know.
Come on.
Interior, frat house, kitchen, night. Evie gets another drink as Thomas helps himself to a beer. People talk and party around them as the music plays. Evie notices a man watching her. This is Aiden, at 20. Evie sees him and manages to wave. Aiden walks over to her a moment later. Thomas watches them.
Hey,
Hey,
what's your name?
Evie. It's short for Evelyn.
Evelyn. That's like old Hollywood.
Sure. Do you have a name?
Aiden.
He extends his hand. It's clear the two of them are having a moment. Thomas lingers awkwardly, and Aiden notices him.
Can I help you, man?
Thomas freezes.
Thomas, I'll catch up with you.
He hesitates, and Evie gives him a look. After another moment, Thomas leaves. Interior, Evie's house, living room, night, 2018. Thomas rejoins Annie, Evie, and Hannah. The girls are in the midst of a conversation about Merrill.
I find it hard to believe. I don't know. She always knew better than to drink and drive.
Did you ever meet Hunter?
Oh, I don't think I did.
He was not a great influence on her.
I gathered that.
He's just gone completely AWOL, not replying to me or Carter. Look, I didn't like him, but it's pretty cool that he's not even gonna fucking show up tomorrow.
Wait, were they?
We'd just broken up with him.
Okay, I don't think I knew that.
I just wish there was more I knew about that night.
What about Carter? Doesn't he know anything?
The last he heard from her was about something insignificant. I don't know if she told anyone she was going to that bar.
Jackson appears in the living room again and goes to Evie.
Can I have hot chocolate?
You just had Oreos. No.
Please.
Jackson, no, you can't always be having so many sweets. I'll take you for hot chocolate tomorrow. How about that?
Okay.
I'll be in soon.
Jackson nods and leaves. Evie gives her friends a look.
Kids. You know, the Disney World thing. Sometimes I picture the smile on his face when he meets Mickey Mouse. I don't know. It's so fucking expensive. I just want to be able to do it before he's too old. I want to get back into violin too.
You can do all those things if you want.
It's hard to imagine when I feel like every day is just survive. I know I'm lucky to have a job and a house, and I love Jackson so much, but it's like, how did my life end up like this?
Yeah. I did everything right. I got the degree, I got the job, and it guaranteed shit.
You're going to find another job.
It's been almost 2 months, and I'm starting to run out of money.
Thomas, you're gonna be fine.
Oh, well, I hate to kick you guys out, but I think the kid's gonna get restless if I make him wait anymore.
No problem.
See you guys all tomorrow.
Bye, Evie. Thanks for hosting.
No problem.
Exterior, Evie's house, night. Thomas, Hannah, and Annie all walk out at the same time. It's so cold that the three of them don't speak much.
Annie, where are you parked?
Just down that way.
We're the same way. Let's all go together.
Three of them walk quickly to stay warm. After a moment of a silent walk, Annie gets her keys out of her coat pocket. She clicks, and her car's lights flash.
This is me.
There's a moment of lingering eye contact between her and Thomas as she gets in the car.
Drive safe.
Okay.
Annie gets in the car. Interior, Thomas's house, Thomas's childhood bedroom, morning. Interior, Thomas's house, Thomas's childhood bedroom, morning. Thomas wakes up and sees Hannah isn't there. He picks up his phone from the end table and sees a text from her. I'm with my parents. I'll meet you at the funeral home. He rarely sits up and rubs his eyes. He notices his phone charger is missing. After a moment, he scans the room for it. He walks over to the dresser, combing through a junk drawer. He doesn't find the charger, but before he knows it, he sees a faded slip of torn notebook paper. He opens it, and his eyes widen when he realizes what it is. Faded, but the words unmistakable. The scrawled pencil note, I like your sweater. The response in purple pen, I like your shirt. In pencil, do you want to be partners for this lab? In purple, yes. Thomas sighs, neatly folds the paper, and puts it on top of the dresser. He texts Hannah. Did you take my charger? She doesn't reply. He looks again and finds it in his backpack. He sighs and plugs in his phone. Then sits on his bed and writes a text to Annie. Are you busy? Hannah's with her parents this morning. Takes a minute for Annie to write back. No. Interior diner. Day. Thomas and Annie sit across from one another at a booth. They have coffee. Thomas is dressed in black. Annie isn't.
I'm gonna have to go home and change, and I'm taking Elsie, so
Yeah, no problem. How is Elsie?
oh, she's fine. She has this Etsy shop where people commission her to draw characters in their stories, and she actually gets a good amount of business. And she did this really cool fan art of the Hamilton characters, and the official page reposted her.
That's so cool. I always thought she was a good artist.
Yeah. Being here with you, it's like no time has passed.
I was thinking the same thing.
His phone dings. It's Hannah. No. Thomas puts his phone back in his pocket.
Sorry, it's Hannah.
Sweet. She's sweet.
Yeah, she is.
I'm happy that you're happy.
Well, what about you?
It's been bad again. Even before all of this, it's this winter. It's just the worst. I just feel like life is happening around me and not to me. And we've been out of college for 2 years now, and I've still done nothing with my life.
Tell me about it.
Before they can say more, they eye James, now 23, and his partner Todd, 22, coming into the restaurant, both in black.
Holy shit, that's James.
She makes eye contact with him and waves. He waves back and leads Todd over to their table. He stands up and hugs Annie.
It's so good to see you.
Sure if you were gonna make it.
This is Todd, my boyfriend.
Hi.
Todd is a screenwriter.
That's awesome.
I'm so sorry about your loss.
Marin was a great person and friend. James probably told you, but he was Captain Von Trapp. I was his Maria, and Marin was our Liesel.
Yeah, he has told me.
We did a lot of other shows together too.
Those were the days.
Hey, we haven't ordered yet. Do you want to see if you guys can join us?
Yeah, sure.
Hey, can our friends join us?
Sure, I'll just grab 2 menus. Your server will be right with you.
The hostess leaves.
It's kind of amazing you guys stayed together all this time.
Oh, we're not.
Yeah, I'm with someone. We're just catching up.
Oh, sorry.
No, don't be.
Yeah, I like never go on Facebook, so I don't see anything.
So, how's New York?
I love it.
Are you in anything?
I'm working in finance right now. I hate it. It makes me want to die, but it pays the bills.
You haven't written a role for him?
Not yet, but it's on the table. We've been talking about like creating our opportunities and not waiting for people to give us permission.
I like that. Well, if you ever have a role for anyone in my range, let me know. I'll come to New York.
Good to know.
Annie's really talented. Hey, I'm going to run to the bathroom. I'm sorry about the assumption earlier.
Don't worry.
James nods and walks down the hall. Interior, Boston University, dining hall, flashback. 2013, an autumn afternoon. Thomas, then 19, is at the drink station of the dining hall. He's caught eyes with Hannah Connor, 18, sitting at a table. She's taking slow bites and sips of her drink. She's reading a book, William Golding's Lord of the Flies. After a moment, she takes a drink of the juice and carries over to the station. She notices Thomas looking in her direction after she dumped the drink.
Hey,
Hannah notices him now.
sorry, this is going to sound weird, but you look really familiar to me. Did you by chance go to Crestwood High School in Wisconsin?
Yeah, I did.
I'm
Thomas Pike. I remember you.
I'm sorry, what's your name again?
Hannah. I was in drama too, in costumes.
Yeah, I only did the spring shows because I was in cross country in the fall.
Right. So I'm a freshman this year.
You go to BU now.
hmm
Sorry, that was a stupid question. Of course you go here.
Well, you don't know that. I could be an intruder or a serial killer or something. I'm studying English.
Electrical engineering.
They stand for a moment longer.
What are the odds of this?
What? Meeting someone else from Crestwood here in Boston?
Yeah.
Well, I just knew I wanted to get out of Wisconsin.
Yeah, I definitely understand that.
Well, hey, I should be getting to class soon.
Yeah, no problem. Do you have Facebook or anything like that?
I'm on Facebook.
Cool. I'll find you. Hannah.
Connor.
All right, Hannah Connor. It was great running into you.
Likewise.
They share a smile as the memory fades. Interior, diner, same. Back to the present, as James returns from the bathroom. The four look at their menus just as their server comes to take their orders. Thomas's gaze shifts out the window at the cold and the ice. Interior, Crestwood High School, hallway, day. After school, Annie moves through a thinning crowd of students towards the theater. As she does, she passes James and Haley, pulled over to the side. She tries not to eavesdrop, but still catches some of their conversation.
So what are you going to do? Wouldn't you rather not be in the show at all?
No.
Then stop complaining. I'm sick of it.
Annie catches eyes with the two of them, and they immediately stop their conversation. Awkwardly, Annie continues walking. Interior, Crestwood High School, auditorium, night. 2012. James and Annie are on stage. Mr. Grant, the director, sits in the audience. They're paused while Annie and Mr. Grant discuss something.
I know this. I know this. I don't know where my brain is at tonight.
That's all right. That's why you have a week till call line.
Of course, he's already off book.
You have a lot more to do even than me. So,
As he talks, it's clear that James is distant, his mind elsewhere.
Let's take 5. Okay?
Annie nods and finds her bag in the audience. She sits, getting a granola bar. James follows and sits next to her.
Hey, I didn't mean to barge in on anything earlier. With you and Haley.
it's fine. She's jealous of you, of us, that we get to do this together.
She has to know, like, it's just a play. Besides, it's kind of overwhelming, all the lines and the songs. It's driving me a little crazy. I keep having these nightmares that I'm on stage and I can't remember everything.
Do you record your lines? That always helps me. I just drive myself crazy listening over and over again.
Yeah, I did some of them, but I'll have to go through the whole script probably this weekend.
Also, Haley does know it's just a play.
James sighs and rubs his eyes.
How much can I trust you, Annie?
I would hope with anything.
I need to break up with her.
Why? Because of the show?
No. I think I'm gay.
Oh,
I I think I've always known. Deep down, I just thought maybe I could make myself like a girl. That's part of the reason she's jealous. I haven't been there for her, and she thought if we were Von Trapp and Maria, it would fix our relationship or something.
I'm not sure what to say. I guess I know it doesn't change the way I think about you.
Just don't tell Haley, please. Not until I can.
Okay.
Interior, funeral home, lobby, day. 2018. People have begun to file into the lobby of the funeral home. Many chat. We're close on photos of a table filled with photos of Marin. Evie looks at the photos. She points out one of Marin, Annie, and her to Jackson, standing beside her.
See? That's me.
Yeah, I know.
Evie smiles tiredly as she notices Carter approaching.
Hey,
Evie wraps Carter in a hug.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
I don't think I've processed it until now. And even I still feel like I'm going to be waiting for a text from her.
Yeah.
As Carter's distracted by someone else, Evie turns to Jackson.
You need to go to the bathroom?
No.
Let's please just try.
Evie leads Jackson to the bathroom, and our perspective shifts somewhere else. Annie and her sister Elise, now 20, enter. Annie notices Marin's dad, Ted, or just Mr. Crosby, 50s, right away. She and Elise approach him.
Annie Ryan, you haven't changed a bit.
Annie hugs him.
I'm so sorry. Did you ever meet Elise, my sister?
Maybe once or twice.
Something like that.
The autopsy came back today. Did my son tell you about that? She hit over 2 times the legal limit in her system, but I like to not speak too much about that today.
No, of course.
Mary made a mistake, and it's unfortunate that it cost her life.
Mr. Crosby, if there's anything that I can do, just let me know.
You know, when she came back to live with me, I wanted things to feel as comfortable and safe as possible. Maybe I should have paid closer attention.
You can't blame yourself for a choice she made.
Thank you, Annie.
I'm gonna go say hello to the others.
Okay.
They walk in the crowd.
I need the bathroom. I'll find you later.
No problem.
Annie stands there, scanning the room for someone that she recognizes. She sees Hannah walk in, and the two exchange an awkward look and wave, but no one says anything. Annie sighs, and we shift perspectives to Hannah. She's looking for Thomas. She sees Evie first, coming with Jackson from the bathroom.
Hey, have you seen Thomas?
I thought I saw him come in earlier.
Just then, Evie is distracted by Aiden, now 27.
Hi.
Can I at least hug you?
Sure, as long as you do the same for your son.
Aiden hugs Evie first, and then kneels down and picks up Jackson.
Hey, little man.
Hannah sighs and keeps scanning the room. No Thomas. She enters the bathroom. Interior, funeral home, bathroom, day. Hannah exits a bathroom stall and goes to wash her hands. She sees Annie at the sink beside her. The sleeves of her long-sleeved dress are rolled up, and she's redoing her makeup. Hannah tries to mind her own business, but she can't help but notice Annie's arms and the many self-harm scars that cover them. Annie notices her looking and scoffs. Flustered, she puts away her makeup and rolls down her dress sleeves.
I'm sorry. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. They're from a long time ago. They're probably never going to fully heal.
I didn't think
You
that.
didn't think what? You didn't think that I have problems?
No, that's not it.
Then what didn't you think?
I'm sorry. I just hope that you're okay.
And he rolls up the sleeves of her dress. She doesn't look at Hannah as she speaks.
Chronic depression's a bitch, Hannah. Wouldn't wish it on anyone.
Hannah looks at her reflection in the mirror now. The harsh lighting seems to accentuate every vein and every imperfection in her face.
Did Thomas ever tell you why he and I broke up?
Not really.
I left him because I thought that he could do better. I thought at one point.
She trails off. Tears start to form in her eyes.
You know what? Never mind. He's a really good person. Hannah, take care of him.
I'm trying.
And he takes her makeup bag and puts it back in her purse.
See you in there.
Yep.
Interior funeral home. Hallway. Day. Hannah wanders past a crowd of people into a hallway, where she finds Thomas in a water cooler. He sees her when he's in the middle of getting himself a glass of water out of a triangular paper cup. As Hannah approaches him, he gestures to it.
What is this, 1995? Hey, how'd it go with your parents?
It was fine. When did you get here?
About 15 minutes ago?
I've been looking for you.
Sorry, I just, anxiety, you know?
If that was a problem, you should have said something and we could have come in together.
You're the one who had breakfast with your parents, so...
And you know more people here than I do.
They exchange a look. Now's not the time to fight. Hannah looks back at the crowd of people gathered in the hall.
Walk with me?
Sure. Just a minute.
He takes a long drink of his water and notices the distant look in Hannah's voice.
You okay?
I don't know.
What happened?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Let's go.
Thomas throws the water cup into the trash and follows Hannah into the crowd of people. Interior funeral home. Lobby. Day. In one corner of the room, Thomas and Hannah eye Annie with Elise, now talking to KYRA, 24, and Marin's brother Carter. In yet another, they see EVIE and Jax in the middle of a tense, private conversation with AIDEN. Then, they see Mr. Grant, their drama director, talking to Haley, now 23. They approach. Haley and Mr. Grant pause their conversation and greet Hannah and Thomas.
How are you two?
Good.
He turns to Haley.
Hey, Haley.
Hey,
How's life treating you?
it's all right. I've been in the Twin Cities for the last 2 years, so I'm student teaching now, hoping to get my license to teach art for elementary school.
That's awesome.
You?
In Boston.
Yeah, same.
Mr. Grant turns to the two of them.
Did you two...
Yeah, we came together.
Oh, wow. What a coincidence.
Right.
She's English. I went to electrical engineering. Not artistic, I know, but I always loved doing the plays. How are the kids?
Oh, the same. Passionate, driven, smart. They send me the same kids every year, just with different names.
What's the show this year?
Les Mis.
Jealous?
It's going to be a good one. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but Sound of Music was a really special show.
It was.
I don't know if I ever told you kids, but I always wanted to direct it. It was one of those movies I saw on TV when I was really young, and it got me interested in theater.
Hannah, Thomas, and Haley all nod. Mr. Grant turns to Haley.
Your Baroness, it was the best I think I've ever seen.
Thank you.
Just then, the funeral goers start gathering in the chapel. Thomas puts his hand on Hannah's back as they walk inside. Interior, Crestwood High School. Hallway, dusk. 2012, the second performance, before call time. Thomas and Annie have gotten there early. They're mid-conversation.
There's just going to be so much to do between work and getting ready for Boston.
It's not until August, though.
I know, but it's going to come up quick. Anyways, aren't you going to be working?
I don't know. I don't have anything lined up.
Let's talk about this later.
Later. Always later.
I seem to remember you telling me that last time.
They share a quick, automatic kiss.
Break a leg.
Thomas goes upstairs to the tech area. Annie lingers for a moment before she enters the dressing room. Interior, Crestwood High School. Dressing room. Dusk. No one is there except for Haley. She's sitting in her dressing area, limply putting on makeup.
Hey.
Haley doesn't respond and keeps putting on makeup.
Haley, I said hi.
Haley continues to ignore Annie.
Okay, then.
Suddenly, she turns back.
Did you know?
Know what?
You know what I'm talking about, Annie, about James.
I'm sorry, I don't.
Annie takes her makeup out of her bag.
Are you sure? Because he told me someone helped him realize what he needed to do. Just makes sense that he'd trust his Maria, right? Because James has always cared more about the stage than real life. You know, I thought that he'd been distant because of the whole long distance college thing. God, I'm such an idiot.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Don't fucking lie to me. I know he told you.
Told me what?
Forget it.
Haley rolls her eyes. Annie says nothing and continues doing her makeup just as James enters. Annie gives him a look and mouths, "Can we talk?" She leads him into the hallway. Exterior, Crestwood High School. Dusk. The two exit the school, finding a quiet place outside where they can talk, away from the others that are filling it.
Hey, what's going on? With you and Haley.
I was going to wait until after the show was done, but she cornered me yesterday and said, "No, we're talking about this now." I didn't have a choice.
She's really upset and she's blaming me.
I'm really sorry I brought you into this, okay? Just try not to worry. Please, this isn't your business.
Made it my business.
If she bothers you about it again, just say you didn't know anything.
I don't want to lie.
Then tell her the truth and let her get mad at me. I haven't even told my parents yet, okay? I'm working on that. There's a lot going on. I just want to do the show, okay?
Sure.
I'm going back in.
Okay. I'll see you in there.
Annie says nothing before she goes back in. Interior, Crestwood High School. Dressing room. Night. More people have arrived now, including Marin, sitting and getting ready next to the space Annie has already laid out. Annie sits.
How do you solve a problem like Annie?
What's going on?
I'll tell you later. Let's just do the show.
Okay.
They keep getting ready. Interior, Crestwood High School. Auditorium. Night. Performance. On stage, Marin and Annie perform the 16 going on 17 reprise. As Annie performs her first part of the duet, she notices Haley watching back from backstage. She's very emotional, on the verge of tears.
When you're 16, going on 17, waiting for life to start, somebody kind who touches your mind will suddenly touch your heart.
When it happens, after it happens, nothing is quite the same. Somehow you know you'll jump up and go if ever he calls your name.
As she does, Annie looks up at the lighting booth. She's distant for a moment. There's a long beat before Annie returns with the next part. As they sing, the girls have the audience completely captivated. Exterior Crestwood High School, night. After the show. Still in her hair and makeup but regular clothes, Annie wades through the crowd. Her mind is distant as a young child and their mother get her attention.
Good job.
I liked you better than the movie, Maria.
That's very sweet.
I'm assuming you're a senior?
I'm a senior, yeah.
So talented. Ugh, I'm a Crestwood alum, actually. Did all the shows. It's good to see it's still going strong.
Yeah, for sure.
I hope you're going to continue with theater.
That's the plan. I'm going to DePaul.
Oh, that's a good school.
Thomas approaches them and kisses Annie's cheek.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Thanks for coming.
Anytime.
They wave and walk off. Annie turns to acknowledge Thomas when she hears her phone ding. It's from EVIE to her and Marin. Hey, the text reads. Sorry I couldn't say hi last night. Things got complicated. I know it's super last minute, but I'm free if you guys want to hang out. A follow-up text reads. Thomas is welcome, of course, too, if he's free. Annie puts her phone in her pocket.
Who's that?
No one.
What's wrong?
Things are bad, and my brain's not a good place to be.
The end of the show?
More than that, I cut last night, and I want to do it again. Just want to fucking feel something.
I don't know what to say. You okay? Do you need help?
I don't know. I have to wait for Elise, so...
Okay. You know, you can call me when you get home.
Sure.
He kisses her and walks off through the crowd. Shortly thereafter, Elise joins her.
Hey.
Hey, you ready?
Yeah.
As they walk, Annie takes out her phone. She just noticed Marin's responded. I'm down. Give me an hour. Your place? Evie's written back, yes. Jackson's asleep and my mom won't bother us. Annie takes out her phone. I'll be there. Then, I think I need to break up with Thomas. Interior, Evie's mother's house. Living room, night. The three girls sit in the living room, speaking in quiet voices.
I don't know. I just feel really bad about the whole thing. I just wish I could bleach it from my brain.
Look, it's between James and Haley, right?
James made it my business. So what am I supposed to do?
Let him come out to people on his time.
This is gonna get out and people are gonna start rumors.
You know this school, people will just repeat whatever they hear, even if they don't know what they're saying.
Oof, the good old Crestwood rumor mill.
I can't wait to be out. One more month.
I wish my mom wasn't fucking here. We could go to the liquor store or something. I know I could use a drink. I'm really sorry about yesterday. Aiden was being ridiculous and I needed to get back right away. But my mom said she could watch Jackson and I'll come tomorrow.
Don't apologize. It's not your fault. Explain your text.
I don't know. It's nothing he's done. I feel us drifting apart, plus the long distance, and I don't know. I just think I need to be on my own.
Jesus, Annie.
Maybe it's meant to be. We'll find each other again in like 10 years or something. Or maybe we won't and I'll just be single. Things just aren't the way they were even a year ago. Everything's about to change and I don't want to hold on to something that doesn't fit anymore.
What about us? I'd like to think that we'll always be friends. You'll be in Chicago. I'll be in Ohio. Evie's staying here. We're not going to be far away.
I didn't mean you guys.
Okay, I hope so.
Girls sit in silence for a moment.
The whole family's going to be there tomorrow.
Mine too. Shit, I'm not ready for this to be over. I don't know when I'm gonna get another role like this.
You will, as long as you keep at it. Hey, Carter's coming tomorrow as well. If you want, I can have him text you and maybe you can sit with my family.
Really? He was there yesterday.
Yeah, at concessions, but he's coming again.
Okay.
Evelyn Marks, do I detect a blush?
What?
He is single.
Oh my God, no, stop.
Annie and Merrill both start smiling as Evie's face turns red.
I can't with you guys. I'm going to check on Jackson. Be right back.
She walks down the hall and we hear a door close as Annie and Merrill exchange a look. Interior funeral home, chapel, day. 2018. The funeral goers all gather. A large photo of Marin and an urn of her ashes sit at the front, alongside a wide array of flowers. The former high school friends are all scattered throughout the crowd. Thomas and Hannah sit near the back. They each look at the programs. Celebration of the life of Marin Lynette Crosby, 1994 to 2018. The preacher takes the podium.
Thank you all for being here this afternoon. It's never easy when a young person dies. At the request of the family, I'd like to open with a short poem from Shel Silverstein. There are no happy endings. Endings are the saddest part. So just give a happy middle and a very happy heart.
Interior, Crestwood High School, auditorium, later. 2012, the final matinee, the second act of the show, the concert and the reprise of So Long, Farewell. The Von Trapp children quickly sing their verses and exit the stage, leaving Annie and James alone. It's taking Annie everything she has not to break as the two begin their final duet. James subtly leans over to Annie.
It's okay. We're almost there.
As the two leave the stage, he puts a reassuring hand on her shoulder. Interior, Crestwood High School, auditorium, later. The end. KYRA, as the Mother Abbess, alongside the nun chorus, sing the reprise of Climb Every Mountain. Center stage, Annie, James, Marin, and the Von Trapp children stand behind them, looking out backstage toward the hills. As the music swells and leads to the show's final moments, Annie, Marin, and the other Von Trapp children look off stage, ostensibly toward the hills. We stay on Annie as the show ends. The lights go down and applause fills the room. Annie exits. The lights come up and the bows begin. She goes to James, but he and Haley are already hugging. He whispers something to her, but doesn't hear what they say. When she pulls away from the hug and joins her place in the bows, there are tears in her eyes. Annie approaches James, and the two hug.
So good doing this with you.
The feeling is mutual.
He hugs her tightly as they get in their places for bows. Finally, it's James and Annie's turn. As they take their bows, they notice the entire house is giving them a standing ovation. They take a company bow. After that, the seniors, all very emotional, step out from the crowd and take turns kissing the stage, a parting tradition. KYRA goes first, then Haley, then Marin, then James, then Annie. As soon as it ends and the lights go down, Annie darts off stage. Interior Crestwood High School, dressing room, day. Annie finds her way to her spot in the dressing room. She sits and breaks down in sobs. From within, they can still hear the orchestra music that plays. Marin follows shortly behind and takes Annie in her arms.
Hey, it's okay. We did a thing.
Yeah, but now it's over.
It's always going to be with us. Maria will always be a part of you, just like Liesel is always going to be a part of me.
Why do things have to change? Why do they have to end? Why can't anything just stay as it is?
Because everything would be really boring.
KYRA comes in then and sees the two of them.
You okay?
And he silences her answer. KYRA goes to sit next to the two of them.
I don't know about you guys, but I think we put a fucking amazing show on.
Yeah, we sure did.
If you ask me, the show was the highest possible note we could have gone out on. What more can we ask for?
Should we go out and say hi to EVIE and our families?
Sure.
Interior funeral home, chapel, day. 2018. Later in the service, Carter takes the podium to deliver his eulogy.
Thank you, everyone. My sister was one of a kind. From the time she could walk, it seemed like she loved stories. Early memories I have of us are the stories we'd invent featuring her Barbies and my action figures. Our parents would read us bedtime stories too. Where the Wild Things Are was the common request. Shel Silverstein was another. The poem we heard earlier was her favorite. There are no happy endings. Endings are just the saddest part. So just give me a happy middle and a very happy start. But what does that mean? How can we use it going forward? Knowing my sister, she'd be embarrassed and more than a little bit flustered by all of this. So, I'd like to talk about her life. For her, acting was a way to explore others' lives, live in all the shades, tones, and variations of the human experience. To quote Sylvia Plath, another favorite of hers. But not all of us are storytellers. I still think there's a lot all of us can learn from my sister.
As Carter's eulogy continues, Hannah gives Thomas a look and slips her hand into his.
She would often tell me that she didn't care what anyone else thought of her or the decisions she made. She was living her life on her terms because it was her life, and at the end of it, she didn't want to have regrets. She loved acting and performing and art, and she just wanted to make her mark on the world. I would say the way that we can honor merit is by waking up each day and deciding what our mark is to make.
Many in the crowd are crying. Interior funeral home, lobby, night. Evie talks to Carter as everyone walks out. Out of the corner of her eye, she sees Jackson and Aiden behind them.
That was beautiful.
Thank you. Hey, are you coming to the reception?
Yeah, Jackson and I both are.
They linger there for a moment.
Well, see you over there.
Hi.
Aiden and Jackson approach Evie.
Well, I'm off. I get him next weekend?
Sounds right.
He gives Evie a hug.
Thank you for coming.
Of course.
As Aiden and Jackson say goodbye, Evie notices Annie, Elise, Thomas, and Hannah.
We're going over to the house.
Meet you there.
Interior, Crosby home, living room, day. The funeral goers gather in the living room. On the couch, Annie, James, KYRA, and Haley talk.
So hard. I was sitting and waiting for an audition for 4 hours, and I finally go in. I swear it's like 30 seconds before they cut me.
Try 15 seconds. I'm working as like a casting assistant now, and I have to go through all the submissions and pick people that match the type. It's kind of demoralizing in a way because there's so many people. What a charmed life we lead.
I've been thinking for a while that I have another show in me, but the competition is just too hard.
You should. I'm sure there's plenty of opportunities.
James and Haley have a moment.
It's good to see you, by the way.
Annie speaks to the group.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards LA. I need to get out of Chicago.
If you have any questions, I'm always happy to chat. You think we're still Facebook friends?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Annie stands up, on the verge of tears again. She passes Hannah and Elise, still talking, and gives them both a quick wave. She sees Evie, Jackson, and Carter talking in another part of the room. She makes her way to the kitchen area, where she sees Thomas. The two make eye contact.
Hi.
Hey, what's going on?
Just can't be around people right now.
Okay. What do you need?
Walk with me?
Sure.
Interior. Interior, Crestwood High School. Backstage. Night. 2012. Graduation day. The graduates have all begun to line up. They talk and take pictures. Thomas starts to find his place in the alphabetical line when he catches eyes with Annie, her face serious.
Hey,
Hey.
we need to talk.
Interior, Crestwood High School. Hallway. Night. Annie leads Thomas to a quiet place.
What's going on? Can't this wait?
If not now, when?
Thomas says nothing.
I think we both know what needs to be said, so let's just get it over with. This is one of the hardest things I've ever had to do.
What?
Thomas,
Annie, just say what you have to say.
I think long distance is going to be too much work for us and we should break up.
Annie.
I'm sorry, but I feel like we've both been on the same page for a while now.
Jesus. Okay, fine. Sure. We can break up. No problem at all. Yeah, really great of us to have this conversation right now.
I feel like we've been trying to have it for a long time and keep pushing it off. You're going to be so busy this summer, and I just think college should be a fresh start for us. I'm 18 and you're 17. We have our whole lives ahead of us still.
Annie leans in and hugs him tightly.
You know I'll always love you. And as long as I live, there will be a special place in my heart for you.
Yeah.
Thomas is holding back tears now. Just then, a school staff member gets their attention.
Graduates, let's get lined up.
Coming.
Annie turns to Thomas.
Shall we?
They walk back to the dressing room. Interior, Crosby home. Marin's room. Dusk. 2018. The sun has started to set as Thomas and Annie find their way into Marin's room. Two of them hesitate for a moment, but decide to go in and close the door.
I hope no one gets pissed if they find us here.
Thomas doesn't directly respond as he's eyeing the way her room is decorated. There's a bohemian-style blanket hanging on one wall. There's posters of the shows she's been in on another. The bed freshly made. The room clean, everything in its proper spot. Annie takes it all in and starts sobbing. After a moment, Thomas takes her into his arms.
It should have been me.
Don't say that.
Why? What's the point of any of this? What's the point of suffering and struggling for a future that might not even come to pass because it all just ends?
Thomas continues to comfort her, and they sit down on the bed. Interior, Crosby home. Marin's room. Flashback. 2008. We see a flash of Annie's memory, years before, the start of their freshman year of high school. It's a bright, sunny day as her, Marin, and Evie sit in the room, laughing and smiling.
Truth.
Do you like anyone at school?
Actually, I picked Dare.
No, you have to answer.
Don't laugh at me.
Never.
Thomas Pike.
The same Thomas from science?
Got hot over the summer.
Ooh, Annie and Thomas. I can see it.
Interior, Crosby home. Marin's room. Back to present. 2018. Annie still cries as Thomas holds her. After a moment, she composes herself and speaks. Thomas starts to reach for his pocket. He takes out the slip of paper.
Found this in my room this morning.
He hands it to her, and she looks at it.
Oh my God. Did you keep that all this time?
I must have. And I didn't even realize I still had it.
And he sets the paper down, smiling now.
You know, I had the biggest crush on you since like the start of freshman year. Evie and Marin teased the shit out of me for it.
Really? Because here I was sitting next to you in class saying there was no way that this beautiful girl liked me back.
I've been wanting to say this for a long time now, but I thought I'd never get the chance, so here goes. I'm sorry for the way that I broke up with you.
What? Graduation?
So bitchy and awful of me, and I heard that you had a really rough summer, and I hate to think I was the cause of that. You know, I was hurting. Not that it's an excuse, but I wanted to get all that off my chest.
Annie, it's water under the bridge, okay?
I haven't been with anyone else since you. No dates, nothing, all through college.
Really?
Yeah, we were together a long time, Thomas, and I guess I just needed to figure out who I was on my own. Now that I have, I'm not sure that I like it. I've never had another role like Maria. I go to rehearsals for ragtime and I wear the white dress. I stand in the ensemble and I look pretty, and I sing look pretty, and I'm not trying to sound ungrateful. It's amazing, but is this all there is to adult life? I have my library job twice a week, and then I just go home alone in my apartment. I haven't made any real friends.
Maybe you need to move.
I might, but I guess I'm just scared that the same problems are gonna follow me to a different place that'll somehow always end up lonely. I think all the time that the three of us, me and you, it's the best thing we're ever gonna get, and it terrifies the fuck out of me.
At that point, they're sitting very close, facing each other. If either of them moved the smallest pace inward, their lips would be touching. It's tempting the both of them, but neither one closes the gap. Annie realizes what's just happened and pushes herself away from Thomas's arms and looks down at the floor, away from him.
Fuck, I'm a terrible person.
Annie.
I'm sorry. That was stupid of me to think about.
Before either of them can say more, there's a knock at the door.
Go away.
The door opens. It's Hannah. She stares at the two of them.
Excuse me?
Hannah, go downstairs. I'll be right down.
Hannah stands there, dumbfounded.
No, you stay, I'll go.
Without another word, Annie stands up and walks out, brushing past Hannah as she does. After another moment, Hannah approaches Thomas and sits next to him.
The hell was that about?
Nothing. Okay, you don't need to worry about it. Nothing happened.
But it was going to?
No. Nothing happened.
So, I need to ask you something.
What?
James said he ran into you and Annie having brunch at the diner.
Yeah, I wanted to catch up since you were busy.
Why didn't you just tell me?
I don't know. I didn't want you to get mad or jealous or anything.
Look, I get it. She was a really important person to you, and you know that you're my first relationship, so I just don't have any equivalent of Annie in my life, and I think that's always made me jealous.
Well, we're together now, and I chose to be with you.
I know I've been off this whole weekend, and I think I was nervous about seeing her, being in the same room as her.
being back here in the place where I always felt like an alien, like I didn't belong. With you, I feel like you were happier in high school.
You didn't even know me in high school.
I know, but I had a crush on you.
What?
I I had the biggest crush on you, Thomas. To me, Annie Ryan was everything I wanted to be, but wasn't.
Why didn't you ever tell me?
What would have been the point?
So, you ended up at BU.
I know what you're going to say, and I didn't go because of you. Honestly, I didn't think about you at all senior year. I remembered, like, in the very back of my mind that you were there, but it was a non-issue. I moved on. I wanted to put every memory, every ounce of this part of my life behind me. I wanted to start over. Then we run into each other in the dining hall. I couldn't. I couldn't stop myself from falling in love with you.
Thomas takes her hand. It's a while before he speaks.
I think I'm trying to reconcile the Marin I knew with the woman that's gone, and I can't ask her. It wasn't hard to grow up, too. I think everyone is. I just wish we'd let it last a little bit longer.
When do we get to be happy? When we go back to Boston?
What do you mean?
I know I've been a bitch, but I think that's just because I hate seeing you so frustrated with trying to find a job.
Yeah. Something's gotta come together sooner or later.
It will.
Hannah looks at him.
We're never going to be kids again, but we can still let ourselves be happy.
Thomas nods. Interior, Crosby home, living room, sunset. Meanwhile, Annie is wandering around downstairs. A lot of guests have left, though James, Todd, and KYRA are still there. And the sun has begun to set. She sees Carter sitting alone on the sofa and notices he's watching EVIE with Jackson in the kitchen. She sits next to him, and he doesn't notice right away. When he does, he jumps.
Hey,
Oh, hey.
people heading out?
Yeah, Haley left a little while ago. Other than that, yeah.
And he notices that he's still watching EVIE.
When are you going to tell her how you feel?
Um,
Marin never told you? We've only got one life, Carter.
At that moment, they notice Thomas and Hannah walking downstairs, and he sees them and waves. They approach the sofa just as EVIE and Jackson join them, both carrying snack trays.
if you guys want to take any leftover food, feel free.
Thank you.
Jackson gives EVIE a look.
Jackson, I promise you we're going to go home. We're still visiting.
Carter gets the attention of the group.
Thank you, everyone, so much. The place, it meant the world to her.
I know.
Everything feels so like I'm not gonna hear her complain about business marketing for spring when it's still 30 degrees here.
Yeah.
Did my dad tell any of you that the autopsy came back?
Yeah.
One mistake and that's it. That's been the hardest part for me about all of this.
We don't have to remember her that way.
They all sit. Meanwhile, everyone's attention has been turned to the radio and the song that's played. Everyone has varied reactions when they realize it's 16 going on 17.
She had to have the last word. Bitch.
EVIE laughs tiredly. All of them continue to listen to the song in awe and disbelief.
Where's my sister? Did she leave?
I saw her earlier.
In response, Elise comes out of the bathroom. She sees the group looking in her direction and joins them, sitting down next to Annie.
What?
Where did you go?
I've been here.
We should get going.
Yeah, okay.
We should too.
I guess it's about that time.
As everyone starts to say their goodbyes, Hannah and Thomas linger. KYRA hugs Annie first.
If you're ever in LA or need advice, let me know.
Of course.
She says goodbye to James and Todd. Then she turns to Evie, and the two hug tightly.
I'll probably text you tomorrow. I love you.
I love you too, Ev.
She turns to Thomas, and they hug.
I hope you have a beautiful life, Thomas. Thank you for everything.
As everyone continues to say their goodbyes, Evie turns to Carter.
Hey, I think I will take you up on that offer for leftover food after all.
Okay, sure.
Thomas gets Evie's attention first.
Before you do, I first go too.
They
James, buddy, it was nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Can you say nice to meet you too?
Nice to meet you.
Evie gives Thomas a smile.
We're working on it.
Thomas puts his arm on Hannah's shoulder and leads her outside. Interior, Crestwood High School, auditorium, night. The graduates file into pomp and circumstances. Because Pike and Ryan are so close alphabetically, there are only 3 graduates, including Haley, between Thomas and Annie. Closer to the front are James and Marin. Evie is in the audience and waves and cheers for Annie as she walks by. They all sit, and the ceremony begins. Interior, Crestwood High School, auditorium, later. We catch the tail end of the principal's speech.
Each of you has your own unique mark to make on the world. Jim Henson, the creative genius behind the Muppets, said, "My hope is to leave the world a little better for having been there." There are 84 of you in this room, and it will take you in 84 different directions. With that, I can certify that the following students have received the necessary credits to graduate, and henceforth come forth when their names are called to receive their diplomas.
During this, Thomas does everything he can to avoid looking at Annie. Interior, Crestwood High School, auditorium, later. After the last graduate walks the stage, the principal reapproaches the podium.
Congratulations to the Crestwood High School class of 2012.
The graduates all throw their caps up into the air. Interior, Thomas's house, Thomas's childhood bedroom, night. As Hannah gets ready for bed, Thomas, in his pajamas, sits at his desk and checks his email.
I checked us in, by the way.
Sweet. Thank you.
He's distracted as he's reading a specific email.
I've got an interview.
Really? Yay!
Yeah, they want to see me sometime this week.
Progress.
Thomas smiles tiredly and responds, "My availability is open. Please let me know the possible day and time. Looking forward to meeting you." Thomas closes his laptop and looks at his phone.
It's supposed to be 55 tomorrow here.
Seriously?
48 at home.
Either way, it's going to feel like summer after how it's been.
Only in Wisconsin.
Hannah crawls into bed, and a moment later, Thomas joins her.
See you in the morning.
See you.
Thomas turns off the light. Fade out.